right, before we launch into the next example, let's talk a little bit about the effect of m and b on the graph of a linear function. So, like we said before, b tells us the y-intercept, right? That's what b is. It's the y-intercept. It's the place where the graph, where the line crosses the y-axis. M is the slope. It's the average rate of change. It's rise over run. And so it's telling us how, y is changing with x. And if it's positive, right, then y is increasing as x increases. If the slope is negative, that means that the y value is decreasing as x increases. Okay. Slope tells us how fast the line rises or falls, and the bigger the magnitude of m, right, either positive or negative, right? So the magnitude is just without any sign. The larger the number is, the steeper the graph. Now, that's easy to talk about, but what I want to do is I want to show you, I'm going to minimize that. I'm going to show you this in Desmos. So all I did is I typed in the equation for a line, y equals mx plus b. You can see that over here. And then I put sliders on m and b. So we can just vary m and b really nicely and see what happens, right? So right now m is set to 1 and b is set to 1. So you can see that we have a y-intercept of 1 and the slope is 1. So if we go up, if we go in the positive x direction by 1 unit, then we go up in the y direction by 1 unit. So no matter where we are in the line, right, we can see that it's just, we have a slope of 1. All right, so let's look at let's look at b first. So what happens when I vary b, right? All it's going to do is change where the line crosses the x-axis, right? So if I increase b, I just shift the line straight up to a different crossing value, right? If I shift it down, so here I've got some negative values of b. So all I'm doing is varying b, and it's just shifting the line up or down, right? So let's go back to 1. All right, now what does m do? M is the slope, right? So m is the slope of the line, and you can see right now it's 1, but I can increase it. Oh, there's 2. Now you can see as I go 1 unit in the x direction, now I go 2 units up in the y direction, no matter which interval I'm talking about. So if I start at 1, go to 2, okay, then my y value increases by 2. Okay, so, and you can see as m gets bigger and bigger, the slope gets steeper and steeper. All right. So now I can also look at, like, here's a 0.3, 0.2. Okay, you can see it's getting shallower until we finally get, well, let's look at a slope and see if I can get a slope of 0. Slope of 0 is just a horizontal line, right? It's just y equals 1. This is the line y equals 1 because m is 0. A slope of 0 is a horizontal line. All right, if we go negative, now you can see it's going downhill as we go from left to right in the x direction. It's going downhill. All right, so here's a slope of -1. So you can see as I increase x by 1, then y decreases by 1. Okay, so it's going downhill as I go from left to right. Okay, so m controls the slope, and b, what happened here? B controls, what happened to the slider? Here we go. Slider. B controls the y-intercept. All right. Sometimes a visual is a lot nicer. So let's go back. Oops, that's not that. There we go. All right, let's go back to example 4. So we have to just match these equations to the graphs that are given. So let's see if I can get this scrolled so I can see most of it anyway. So what we want to do is just look at the slope and the y-intercept. All right, so if I look at this first graph, I can see that the slope is positive, right? So I'm just going to write, draw. Why isn't it drawing? M equals, or it's not m. M is greater than 0, right? It's positive. M is positive because I'm going uphill. Y is increasing as x increases. And the y-intercept is also positive because it's above the x-axis. So then I can just look up at my choices, which one has a positive m and a positive b, positive y-intercept. And so it looks like the only one that fits it is this one. So this matches b. All right, let's go look at the next one. Let's just look at m and b. M is again greater than 0 because we're going uphill, right? Y is increasing as x increases, so it's a positive slope. This time the y-intercept is below the x-axis, so it's negative. It's less than 0. So I want a positive slope and a negative y-intercept. So I look at my choices, and it looks like the only one that fits is this one. So this appears to match D. Okay. All right, let's see here. Can I get them all on the screen here? All right, well, you can at least see most of it. Should make it smaller maybe. But let's just go ahead with this. So now here on this one, we can see that slope is negative, which is less than 0. And B looks like it's going right through the origin, right? So B is 0. All right, so which one of these has a negative slope and a y-intercept of 0? So it looks like it's just this one. So this one corresponds to A. All right, next one, we have the slope is negative, right? Because it's going downhill, but the y-intercept is above the x-axis, so the y-intercept is positive. So we were looking for a line. Now there's only one left, so but it has to have a negative slope and a positive y-intercept. So it's got to be this one, but this one's actually it's written in a little bit. It's not written in y equals mx plus b form, so it could be a little bit misleading. We can rewrite this as y equals negative 0.5 x plus 3. Right? That's the same thing. So so that it has a negative slope and a positive y-intercept. So C is the one that matches that line. All right. That's all I got for you. And so I'll see you in class.